Thanks, Kathy, and thanks for the opportunity to speak for a couple of minutes today amongst many powerful speakers. This is an incredibly important inquiry, and the evidence being given is incredibly important, and we haven't had a chance to hear a lot of it before. So I'm speaking today. My name's Sylvie Ellsmore. I'm one of the Marrickville councillors. I'm very proud. Joe Halen is another fellow Marrickville councillors, and I'm very proud of the role that, as a council, we've been able to play in opposing this project. While still Simon Lowe presented from council about some of the detailed modelling that council's been able to do, but also in terms of the role that I feel we've been able to do as a council, working in partnership with the community and trying to disrupt and call to account the WestConnex project as it's rolled out at these very early stages. And in particular, some of those things, some of the earliest works have been undertaken, preparation works in our council area. And as a council, we've made decisions to refuse permission to WestConnex to do those works and their various subcontractors, not least because a number of these approvals involved ripping up local streets, laying major infrastructure for parts of the project that had not yet been approved. The suggestion that the government was somehow legitimately going through a process of reading submissions and looking at changing where it was going to put key parts of, say, the St Peters interchange, were made a mockery of when we were then getting applications as a council that they wanted to start laying particular pieces of infrastructure that would lead directly to what they had planned. This was while they were still supposed to be reviewing and listening to the community and leaving themselves open to make some of these changes that could improve the project or stop the project. We haven't seen that, and one of the big concerns I have about this process as a local councillor, I mean, it's obviously one of the biggest transfer of public money to private funding that we have in the history of Australia, and it's not about public transport, which we know will be the solutions. We as a council have had to put aside, I think it's $40,000 so far, to commit to modelling some of the streets, because even while it has been very secret, even the information that we do have access to, we know that there has been lines of modelling that stops at particular streets and doesn't look at where the rest of it's going to go. And those of us that travel those streets and the residents that live realise you don't just travel along main arterial roads, you use all the other roads. And those are the ones that are the ones we've been working really hard as a council to make livable and active and have bike paths, make them pleasant places to be, to have a livable city that are due to be congested and become parking lots essentially for all of this new traffic that's going to flow into the inner west. We have seen from the conditions of approval that it looks as there's been talk of a legal challenge, and it looks as though councils may be the only ones who are able to bring this legal challenge. And this brings in this other huge issue we have with the process from a council point of view, that we're on the cusp of local council amalgamations that will see our councils sacked, that are the ones that are providing a community opposition and that voice at that level. We've been able to do that on Marrickville Council, but there will be no legal challenge if we have an administrator for 9 months instead of an elected Leichhardt Council, instead of an elected Marrickville Council, instead of an elected Ashfield Council. We have another sham public process being undertaken at the moment. We've heard from this public inquiry around amalgamations. We've had to FOI the state government and had those refused. We're not able to see the copies of the report of the public inquiry about whether or not we are going to should be sacked as a council, according to the independent delegate, on which the minister's going to make his decision. And we'll be told that we'll find out with 24 hours notice if the councils have been abolished when it's gazetted in the paper. All of these things are connected, and we cannot solve one without the other, but they give this very clear picture of a government committed to secrecy, that it doesn't have the evidence or the community's interests in mind, or it wouldn't be so afraid of telling the truth about what it's doing. So thank you for the opportunity to speak today as a local councillor, and we will continue to do whatever we can on Marrickville Council as long as we can to fight this project with the residents.